Hi again, Void. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Hello! Thanks for keeping your promise, Void. Hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it? Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged out here by Monika. I don't know if you just plan to come here or hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, we won't see you. You won't see the end of it. Mon, you're in the way. Big mouth for someone who keeps a manga collection in the club room. Monika? She finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Void. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Why is she so close to me? Like, her head's getting cut off by the screen. Natsuki a disappointed glare. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have some interest in picking up a book to read? Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now, so it feels right for me to do something like this if you ask. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. You don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. No, it's okay, Yuri. It's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? Just feels like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something that you might like. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked a book I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? Even if she picked up a book she'd think I'd like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expect Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried into a book, and I can't help but notice her intense expression like she's been waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki's rummaging around the closet. Are we gonna cuddle again? Oh, no. Because I picked the, Yuri path, it's kicking me out of the Natsuki one, so it knows already. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I'd feel bad for distracting her from her reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. Oh, crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and her eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper into her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I'm under this sensing that I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I wasn't focused, I probably wouldn't have noticed it in the first place. If I was focused. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so, that's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Your eyes got real wonked there for a minute, baby. Not for any particular reason. I'm just curious, how come... Oh, just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Well, I stopped by the bookstore yesterday. That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about, anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. It's book-titled Portrait of Markov. There is an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. Oh, I wanted to read that, actually. And people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean, not the thing about the limbs. Ayo! Hello, welcome back. We're on the spooky second run of this. Not the thing about the limbs. It's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was gonna be a nice story, so the dark turn came out of nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Void? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those types of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot Yuri is into these things. Never actually played Doki, nor watched someone play it. All I know is it gets weird and freaky. We're in the, like, kinda weird and freaky. So we had one of the I'm gonna do endings, in quotes. So now it's the second run, but it's all glitchy and stuff because one of the characters got physically removed from the game. So everything's kind of shifting around. There's some glitches going on. So we're getting into the spooky. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. Even horrible things happen just because someone wants to be evil. But because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. Then suddenly... I'm rambling, aren't I? You were glitching there, honey babe. Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then, but I feel I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts... My whole body gets what now? I kind of forget to pay attention to people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And people stop me, and please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. It just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Well, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but... what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieve the book and put it into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip in the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. That's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in the company of someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I get distracting, or if I end up being distracting to you or anything. Alright. I open up the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company, as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not particularly a bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. She's looked like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just bathing in the feeling of your what? You really apologize a lot, don't you? I do. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean, Here, that should work, alright? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's and hold my book between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we lean into each other a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess it makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. I was expecting something bad to happen. I know, right? Excuse me, huh? Yeah, Yuri's on the spicy side of TikTok, if that makes sense. She's got a lot of repressed, spooky, spicy vibes. Takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the opposite side of the book. That way I turn the page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. As if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's on the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Don't look at me like that. Sorry, I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face and her eyes meet. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. Like, we continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, she just assumes that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it on my own volition. So we continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning the page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side, and she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri? This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I just think the way she second-guesses things, she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry, I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. Yuri, baby? So I don't know why that came into my head. Are you feeling alright? Huh? She's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... Am I breathing? She puts her hand on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up, practically rushes out of the room. What on earth was that about? Void? Did something happen just now? I have no idea. Yuri's acting a little strange, I guess. So you don't know anything. Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her? No, not really. Just making sure you didn't do anything to her. What am I gonna do to her? We all know, but shh, it's fine. Nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Why don't we start with our poems? With reading our poems to each other, Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I figured we'd get started without her. Is that okay? I was just asking... I stand up, I take a mental note where I left off in the book, and slip it back into my bag. Who should I read my poem to first? Let's do Natsuki. Told Natsuki was interested in her poems yesterday. It's probably only fair if I shared mine with her. Void, if you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What, you expect me to believe you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put effort in. We all start somewhere, right? Are you still proud of the first poem you ever wrote? I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I'll tell you what to improve, so you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each other his own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you will probably be something stupid. You'll think it's stupid. Okay, we read this one already. Yeah, I told you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. Isn't that the point of poems, for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like it when it's easy to read but hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone go around and do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writings is it puts weight on the wordplay. Like I set it for a rhyme at the end, but then it falls flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feelings of the last line. So you did. I guess more went into this than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. I didn't expect from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, I guess not. We already went through this, so it's a little bit the same, but I want to make sure it doesn't change. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki's feeling proud, I won't take that away from her. Hi, Void. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new in everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the clubs, like new activities or things that we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? Kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Void. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But that's sort of the barrier that we learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand her my poem. Mm-hmm. Great job. I was going, oh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep track of everyone's expectations. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism? Sometimes I feel that Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing, though. But sometimes I get the impression she's totally given up on people. Monika got savage. She spends so much time in her own head, that's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must really be starved for social interactions, so don't blame her for coming off a little strongly. Like earlier. If she gets a little too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly the door opens. Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more than glad you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monika. I suppose I should get my poem now. Do you want to read my poem? Don't worry, it's not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Okay, this is a new poem. Hold while. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings, but my eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in the room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on a flat sheet of paper? The sound frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Okay. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. So I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. That's how it's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That's it, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. That's what the inspiration what was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say it's some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. Kind of nervous talking about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming off strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes even when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try too hard to make it perfect, you'll never make any progress. So just force yourself to get something down on paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll end up getting a dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice. Thanks for listening. Yuri. Tell me your secrets. She reads the poem and notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's gonna hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? She takes a deep breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Well, it's a huge compliment coming from you. It's actually the first time, really. Huh? She stares at me blankly and looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, She trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I'm able to tell. It's just that their specific writing habits are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end results in both styles and expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds a train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There's so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. It's not finding them it's just finding and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging point. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example, and trying new things. I also hope to give everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a bit biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologizing to herself, to me, or Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I love to share my thought process behind it. She smiles dreamily as if it's a rare opportunity for her, which is kind of funny. After all, it's supposed to be a literature club. We read that one already. Okay. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. It took you a long time to read. Well, I don't read script very often. I think your handwriting's pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short? I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest, since our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little bit more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Huh? Actually, this story isn't about ghosts at all, Void. Really? I must totally miss the point. Well, I suppose you did have a glance over it after all. But remember that poems often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In that case, perhaps the subject of poems only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in emotional meaning, place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I haven't even thought of that. It's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so, nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all of this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep doing my best for you, Void. Me too. Phew, I guess that's everyone. Glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone's judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just... The music's weird. Okay. I just needed to make sure that was still kind of normal. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess it ended up getting my... I guess that's what I got myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange a piece of paper sharing their respective poems, and read them in tandem. I watch their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, she smiles sadly. We have been through this before. Did you say something? No, it's nothing. Reads poem, returns to desk. I guess you say it's fancy. Thanks. It's cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism? It's clearly about feeling giving up. How could that be cute? I know that. It just meant the language, I guess. I was trying something nice. You really have tried that hard to come up with something nice to say. It didn't come out as nice at all. Well, I have a couple suggestions. I wasn't looking for suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it, which people did, by the way. Monika liked it, and Void did too. Based on that, I have some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time developing my writing style. I won't change it unless it's expiring, which I haven't. Void likes my poem too. I'm speeding through this. He was impressed by it. She stands up. Oh, I didn't realize you were so invested to impress our new member. That's not what I... You're just standing up. I might as well... He appreciates my advice more than yours. How do you know he didn't appreciate mine? How are you so full of yourself? No, I don't go out of my way to make everything cutesy. Well, you know what? I'm not the one whose boobs magically grew a bit big. Boobs got bigger. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. Don't talk about insecurities. Uh-oh. Wanna be edgy, bitch? Edgy? Sorry that my lifestyle is a bit too much for someone your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. Most people learn to get over themselves after they graduate middle school, you know. Well, you prove anything and stop harassing others in your sickening attitude. Oh, no one's here to stop it. That's why it's freaking out. You think you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute? The only cute thing about you is how hard you try. Well, be careful, you might have cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad, Yuri, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck is wrong with your head? Oh, go on. Let Void hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. Ugh. Suddenly, she turns towards me as she noticed I was standing here. Void, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. Oh. I'm gonna side with Yuri. Yuri. Monika. Hi. Yuri. 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 Hey, Void. Why don't we step outside for a little bit? Okay. It started off as the same fight, and then it went downhill so fast. Fuck. Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for you to stay out of this. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Some president I am, right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. I wish I was able to be a bit more assertive or something. But I never really have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, if this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Suddenly Natsuki runs out of the classroom. She quickly runs away. Oh dear. Well, looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. Yuri's rocking back and forth on her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri? I didn't mean it. I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did. Void, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget about it by tomorrow. Completely. Anyway, the meeting's over, so you can go home now if you want. She looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monika. You can go first, Monika. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take the responsibility today. Sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. It's just... I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Void. It would be embarrassing with you listening. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. Okay, I guess we're done with that. An ending. Agonizing. Anxiety. Insight. Grief. Graveyard. Frightening. Forgive. Cry. Intellectual. Fear. Sadness. Oh. Why did you like sadness? Despise. Tears. Incongruent. Death. Bed. Melancholy. Unrequited. Okay, with that, I'm gonna end the stream here. It's just gonna go downhill from here, and there's a lot to process, in the last hour. As a recap, Sayori's dead, and everything's gotten weird. So the game forced us to restart because we tried to go back with the save file, and that didn't work. So it forced us into a new game, and then now it's all buggy, glitchy craziness.